So first of all, we're going to have a chat about a different sort of event that's been rumoured for weeks upon weeks, that's been going on Twitter, and now it's finally coming ahead on hashtag July 6th. To tell us more about it, now joining us in studio is Alexander Dean. Now, how's things with yourself?
Good. Pleasure to be here.
Well, welcome back to the Kickout. So first of all, July 6th hashtag, or hashtag July 6th. This has been an event that's pretty much broken Twitter, at least from an Irish wrestling point of view. Like, so where did the idea come from the start?
For the hashtag, we just needed a hashtag.
Yeah, well, the idea from the show is more
for the show. Okay, so it's kind of the brainchild of myself and Jay Money.
Right.
About 2 or 3 months ago, traveling to a couple of wrestling.ie shows, Jay Money said to me that he had an idea of renting a theatre space to film some promo footage and some B-roll footage.
Okay.
And what he was looking at was kind of a high-end theatre with a good lighting setup with completely blackened out walls where you can film some really high-spec footage. Jack is his real name. Jay has to stand for something.
Yeah.
He had the idea of using Players Theatre in Trinity College, as he went to Trinity and he was a member of the Players Society in Trinity College, and he still has some connections there. So he thought that he could arrange to have this place for a 2-week period in the summer, because there was usually no activity when college is out.
The college isn't on there, yeah.
Exactly. And when it became apparent that he could definitely get it for 2 weeks for a handshake and a case of beer, my mental gears started turning. He offered it to myself and a select few others that if we wanted to go in and tape some promo footage, or tape some skits, or tape some B-roll footage, or do a photo shoot, that the space would be there. And then he mentioned to me that the place is big enough to put a ring in, and he said that if you had a ring in there, you could obviously do some B-roll footage in the ring, you could record some moves, you could put together things for a highlight package. When he mentioned the ring, I thought, if we have good lights and we have the ability to do whatever we want, why would we not do a show? And my original idea for the show was what we're going to end up doing on the 8th of July,
Okay.
which is where we give everybody who is currently active as an Irish professional wrestler a chance to perform on this show in front of an audience of their peers. One, with a view to getting themselves noticed by people who promote shows. So I'm extending the invite to the guys who run OTT, NLW, FFPW, PW, Uprising, Wrestling.ie. I've extended the invite to all of them.
Okay.
And then 2, to have this footage recorded so that they can shop themselves out beyond Ireland to places like England, Scotland, Wales, America, Europe, whatever. The end product, I hope, for the 8th of July is that there's a bunch of guys who are performing under the level of OTT that don't have this type of footage, that will then have that type of
They're
footage.
just about to break out, if you like.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like the guys that I'm specifically thinking of are the likes of Liam Royal, Callum Black, Martin Steers. There's a lot of really talented young wrestlers there who have a lot of experience, who have been at it for a while, but just haven't broken onto that, OTT contenders level.
Yeah.
And all of their footage, although it's of solid matches, is in the likes of GAA halls, which are very, very well lit, or very badly lit, but very, very brightly lit, and doesn't convey well when you try and present your...
Or at least in comparison to, let's say, an OTT show, for example.
Yeah. When you give the footage of a GAA hall to a promoter, for example, overseas, you're never going to get someone like, for example, Progress or ICW looking at you seriously if all your footage comes from a GAA hall.
Yeah.
Because they're just going to think, well, this guy is on the Bush League level of things,
Yeah.
Which is not to say that GAA halls are Bush League, but it's definitely the perception that comes across when you're trying to make the leap to the next level.
Exactly. That makes a lot of sense. Now, were you surprised by the reaction that came from it, from Twitter, from everybody? Because at one stage it looked like they were making Father Ted's sort of comparisons. I remember someone changed their name on Twitter to July 6th. I think it was Nathan, actually. So were you surprised of the reaction, not just from, obviously, the guys from Five Factory? I noticed a lot of them were pushing it as well, but were you surprised by the outsider perspective of fans who came in and responded to it?
Yeah, a little bit, because realistically all we did was we uploaded 2 pictures, one of a scaffold in the theatre and one of Jack looking up the scaffold. Both were taken from the crow's nest, which is above the theatre.
I must mention, though, the picture of Jack, I knew it was the Players Theatre once I saw that picture.
Really?
Only because years and years ago, I was in college for DCU, and I did a tour around all the theatres in Dublin because I was looking after, it was like the National Theatre thing at the time, and I remember I was the tech officer at the time, and I remember seeing that lighting desk before, looking down. So by coincidence, I was like, "Oh my god, they're doing a show here of all places!" So it was kind of cool.
So that was the thing. Like when we went out to check out the venue, just to make sure that we could put a show in there and we could do it the way we wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I said to Jack immediately, I said, look, I've taken 2 pictures here. Should we share these? And he just said, wait till we, have confirmation that they're okay with wrestling. And so we did. We waited till the last moment, and then we were texting each other back and forth. And he just said to me, what do we put up here for a hashtag, And
Right.
I just said, how about July 6th? Because at least it gets the date out there. And then whenever we get anyone to share it, we'll just get them to share it with hashtag July 6th. Hence why when you did see so many Irish wrestlers that are booked on the show sharing this post, it all just said hashtag July 6th, and that was, in essence, it was kind of like our viral marketing campaign, was just try and get the date into people's heads, because it is so close. We've essentially had a 2-week turnaround, and I think what kind of helped in terms of people sharing it and people talking about it was the mystery element. It was the fact that we didn't show you where we were going to go. It's the fact that we didn't tell you who was going to be on it, but everybody was all of a sudden talking about it. That you ended up thinking, right, this must be a big deal, and you ended up sharing it. And we are very thankful to people who shared it, and obviously like the likes of, say, Nathan McDonough, who changed his Twitter name to July 6th, which was brilliant.
Yeah.
He's changed it back now though, so we have a little bit of an issue now.
even ourselves, like, we shared it as well, and we were thinking to ourselves, God, what could he possibly be doing in there, like, so like, it must be something really different. And we're excited when we first heard of it as well. Like, they mentioned it on Rick and Lobos before as well. I'm thinking, this could be different.
It'll definitely be different anyway. I mean, because of the versatile nature of a black box theatre, it means that we can do all sorts of things in terms of lighting, entrances, in terms of what way we set up the stage. We're not limited in the same way we are in, say, a GA hall or in a pre-made stage theatre where we have to have things a certain way.
Yeah.
We've essentially got space now. We haven't got a lot of it, hence we haven't got that many tickets to sell.
Yeah.
But we have a pretty much blank canvas and open space to do what we please. And from what we've spoken about, in terms of setup, we think it'll be one of the more aesthetically pleasing wrestling shows of the year.
Does that present challenges at the same time? Like, let's say, imagine to compare in comparison to the Tivoli. Like, imagine a lot of people who wouldn't watch wrestling there, who would see rock gigs there, for example, and then they look at it as a wrestling show, thinking, God, how does that work out and stuff like that? Is there a challenge to that from an entrance to a ring and stuff like that?
I think it's a little bit more versatile than the Tivoli. I think the Tivoli is a bit of a, now it obviously works, but it's a bit of a strange setup in that you have the entranceway skewed off to the side, where you don't really see the entranceway until the guy appears at the top of the stairs.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Like, I think that's a little bit of, it's a bit different. The Tivoli obviously has a low roof, which helps tremendously with atmosphere, in that all the noise you make kind of echoes off the roof and comes straight back at you, which is brilliant. But I think that players will be a very, very different setup. We're talking about standing room only. Now, there's a few people who have specifically requested, could they, just due to either disability or site restrictions, if they can have a seat on a stage, and we're doing our best to accommodate them. But we're looking at doing a very WXW standing room only feel to it. Nice. Get people squashed right up to the ring, because we have such limited space. Get to the point where you can touch the apron. Like, we might put a bit of a safety tape around the ring, but because of this, we have our own challenges in terms of, like, what can we do in matches. There can't be a ton of dives, because that's obviously a health and safety hazard. But we're looking at building things like maybe even doing like a catwalk from the stage to the ring, so everything is above floor level. Nobody ever gets to floor level. So
similar to, let's say, like a New Japan show, where it's like from the stage to a massive walk to the ring. Like,
well, I wouldn't say a massive walk, but we're looking at doing a walk to the ring.
But some similar way, like where it just goes all the way to the ring, or something like an old WCW show or something like that. So.
Yeah, making it a real stage/wrestling presentation.
Okay, that's pretty cool. You've already announced on Twitter, like, a who's who for Irish wrestling to be announced for the July 6th show, from likes of Valkyrie, Jay Money, Angel Cruz, Justy, Morton Hype, David Cattell, Wreck-It Rogers, Amy Alonzi, Captain Sexy, yourself, Scotty Davison, Katie Harvey. So is there any matches been confirmed for this, or is it all going to be revealed on the night?
We're not, well, to be honest with you, usually you'd reveal matches to try and sell some tickets, but we sold out within a day on intrigue alone. I'm not certain whether we'll reveal matches beforehand. We may just keep the hype train rolling a little bit longer. We haven't revealed all of our wrestlers just yet. We still have a few more to go. One thing that's kind of slipped through the cracks on Twitter, because we only got the graphic made today.
Right.
It was a real last minute job. We secured Paddy Morrow for the show.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
No, that was going around. You're right. Yeah.
I wrestled Paddy last week at Uprising in Belfast as a
Right.
last minute replacement, and I just pulled him aside after the match and said to him, "Do you want to do this? Are you back?" And I love Paddy. Paddy's like his graphic in fact says the most naturally gifted pro wrestler that Ireland's ever produced, and it's true. So he said, "I'll see if I can get it off work," and he can get it off work. So here we are. We're going to have Paddy Morrow involved. Now, whether we throw, for example, Paddy Morrow in with an old foe like Phil the Trill Boyd, who again we just haven't revealed yet, or whether we throw Paddy Morrow in there with one of the top up and comers like an LJ Cleary or Darren Carney, who's to say? There is a card preliminarily drawn up.
Right.
However, we're keeping our cards. We're playing our cards fairly close to our chest. We want to kind of get as many people on this show as possible because there is a lot of hypes around it.
Yeah.
There's more than hypes around it. So,
no pun intended.
So we're playing our cards kind of close to our chest on the off chance that we have to change things last minute.
Right.
So far, matches that people seem to be excited by when we have asked them is people really want to see Angel Cruz versus J Money.
There's talk about that, yeah.
Yeah,
because they're both very they're very similar personalities in the sense that they're very engaging to the crowd in a way. Like, so that could be that's sort of a dream match when you think about it.
To be honest, I'd love to see that match. I know J Money has always wanted to tangle with LJ Cleary as well. So that could be a match. I know I've always wanted to have a singles match with J Money. That could be a match. There could be a tag team match in there. Could be collar and elbow versus maybe more than hype, the rematch. That could be a thing.
Why not?
There could be a million and one possibilities. As it stands right now, we're just releasing the names of people who are taking part. We found that people are getting quite excited just by by virtue of the amount of people that we have booked on the show. So
now, you mentioned casually on the Justice Spandex Pantomime that there could be people coming in from outside of Ireland. Is there any, I don't want to reveal names, obviously, but I appreciate if there's a surprise are kept, but kayfabe. But is there any truth to that, or like so? Or
there is truth to that. Yeah, we have at least one fly-in.
Nice.
It's a name that we kind of we were keeping as an ace up our sleeve. If the ticket sales weren't shifting, the idea was to release this name in the last few days.
Gotcha.
And try and use that to kind of hype some ticket sales.
Gotcha.
But with the way things have been, we sold out the show in a day. We have a very small capacity. The room is going to be tight enough as it is. And we do have a wait list on Eventbrite where if you go to the ticket link, you can add your name to a waiting list. And if we can get extra people in on the day based on what Trinity say to us, then we will. But as of right now, like I think people would rather have the surprise. I'd rather have people talking about the surprise as well.
I'm the same. I already didn't reveal it. Like, you know, so talk about it, but just don't.
It's something a bit different. Something different.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
I will say though, it's somebody who has never wrestled in Ireland before.
Never wrestled in Ireland.
Never
OTT
wrestled in
or
Ireland
none of those guys.
Never.
It's a very interesting one. God, I can't even guess what it is. You can tell me off air if you want, but like,
I'm not going to. No.
Okay, fair enough.
You're going to be there, aren't you?
Of course, yeah.
You'll probably enjoy the surprise more.
Okay, grand. So, so obviously, as you said, like the first bat, the tickets are sold out. So you have this waiting list now. Like the tickets sold out within 24 hours or something, didn't they?
Just less than 2 days, yeah. And I think J Money was quite pissed that they didn't sell out in a day because we made a whole deal of.
Was there a bet involved?
No. We just made a whole deal of the tickets will be released in smaller batches, and the idea of the smaller batches was that we were going to change the password every few days. It wasn't necessarily a batch of like we're going to release 30 tickets. It was going to be, well, we'll give it 2 days on this password and then we'll change it and then we'll try and hype up a new password and then we'll get people talking.
So the
again.
idea, let's say, worldwide was
still is, I believe, yeah.
And it could have been like say Agenda second and so on and so forth.
Yeah, it could have been Angel Cruz as the third password. And then we were going to, as we revealed people for the show, we were going to reveal a new password. So if we had for example, revealed more than hype on day 3, the password could have been Blair, for example. But that we took we were taking a gamble that would actually, happen, and it didn't. We just sold out within a day and a half, which we were happy about.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, just going back to the original point, Jack was actually a bit disappointed that that we didn't sell out in a day. It was kind of the in-betweeny phase where he'd rather have changed the password a few times or sell out in a day.
Oh, okay. I must ask you, because there's been a lot of talk about the scaffold, obviously, image at the show. Will there actually be a scaffold match? Because you said yourself there won't be, but will there actually be, or will there not be?
I can almost 100% say that there won't be a scaffold match.
Oh, but scaffold will be there.
Well, I mean, the scaffold is part of the building, isn't it?
I suppose.
So I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're booking Angel Cruz. He can end up doing anything. You know, he's shown up with a chainsaw. He's shown up with barbed wire wrapped 2x4 that he tried to set on fire.
That's an image.
He's shown up with an AK-47.
He did.
He could possibly show up with some scaffolding in his pocket.
Yeah. No, that would be a pop as well. Oh, now I want to ask as well. Now, obviously the show is on the Players Theatre, which is only, imagine, available during this particular time, because once it's August, end of August, September, it's college.
College is back in, yeah. And
I heard you talk about, this is a once-off show. It'll probably never ever happen again. But let's say, for argument's sake, you had the theatre available next year. Could you see something similar happening at a similar time next year or the year after, if it's a success?
I don't know. I'll see the lay of the land next year. It depends if, obviously, Jack is the connection there. I'm just the guy who whispers in his ear and tells him what to do according to the agenda. If the theatre was available next year, who's to say we could do it? I don't see myself promoting as a regular thing. That's why I was very quick to say that this is not a new promotion, nor is it Fight Factory, because if we mess this up, I don't want to tarnish the good name of Fight Factory. It's just, as myself and Jack said, it's just two lads who have had a really good year in Irish pro wrestling. You have to remember, this time last year, Jack had probably only just taken his first bump in training, and I hadn't had a match in 4 years, and the last year has been really, really fun. So it's just a way for us to have some crack, celebrate the last year in pro wrestling, and put on a really cool show in the process.
That's awesome.
But next year, who knows? I know nothing about what the next year will hold. Maybe Jack will be living in the Maldives by then. Maybe I'll have emigrated too. Who knows? We'll see what happens, if it does become available again next year, or we might wreck the place and we'll never be welcome back.
Well, leave with this. In the meantime, for people who have a ticket, what time will the show be starting?
It's and 7 p.m. kickoff,
and to be YOB show as well. Is
it? But we're keeping that a secret. We're only really announcing it on podcasts and stuff. So by all means, bring a beer, bring a friend. Cram yourself like sardines into that little room. Definitely bring a beer, because it's probably going to be quite hot in there. We are looking at air conditioning solutions, but it's probably going to be a hot room.
Could be another hot Sean.
Could be another big hot Sean. Yeah, a big hot Samuel Beckett Theatre. But yeah, bring a beer, bring a friend, buy some merch. A lot of the guys who are doing this show, because it is in essence a fundraiser for the 8th, because the cameras that we're renting cost a lot of money, and getting people to film 2 shows costs a lot of money. Because the fundraiser, there is a lot of people who will not be taking a wage out of this show. Nobody was forced to do that. We offered them straight up. When we offered them the booking, we said, look, we can put you on the show. It might be a really cool show. You'll get some good footage, but we can't give you a wage, because the overheads are going to be quite big. Everyone was kind enough to agree to that. So if you do show up to the show, it is pay what you want. If you felt as though you got a nice discount on a ticket because it's pay what you want, by all means, go up to MTH, Angel Cruz, Amy Lonzi, whoever, get some merch off them.
Makes sense.
And just say, I'm supporting you because you're keeping this scene alive.
That's awesome. So merch sales will be there as well. So that's another way people. So that's awesome.
How could we mess with merch? Also trying to work out where we sell some stuff for Heel Turn Apparel, which is Humperdink's new clothing line. And I'll also have collar and elbow brand stuff there as well. So there'll be some nice fashionable stuff as well.
Awesome stuff. So that's looking forward to then for July 6th. So Dean, it's a pleasure having you on as always. Best of luck anyway. Next Friday it's on now. So yourself and Jack, well done for setting it all up, and we hope to have you on again soon.
Thanks, Dave. Pleasure.